Hey there, guys. It's John Rose. I had to cover this incident because I don't believe mainstream conservatives will address it appropriately. I don't believe many people have the courage to address it appropriately. And I want to offer that level headed response that shows the massive cultural shift that we're undertaking. Right now, you also may be wondering why I haven't posted in a while. I have excuses, they don't amount to much. Here's the excuses. Lame excuses. Number one, had to do a clean install of my Windows. The number two, I had giga mega AIDS. I couldn't get my temp below 100 degrees. I was still doing streams the entire time and working, but it just sucked. I didn't feel like it. And also, you may notice that my setup isn't exactly the same as it was before. Hope it's okay. Hope it's tolerable. Let's get into the incident. I'm going to start with her words in the Give, Send, Go. Shiloh Hendricks. Help me protect my family. Hello, my name is Shiloh, and I have been put into a very dire situation. I recently had a kid steal from my 18-month-old son's diaper bag at a park. I called the kid out for what he was. Another man, who we recently found has had a history with law enforcement, proceeded to record me and follow me to my car. He then posted these videos online, which has caused my family and myself great turmoil. My social security number has been leaked. My address and phone number have been given out freely. My family members are being attacked. My eldest child may not be going back to school. Even where I exercise has been exposed. I am asking for your help to assist in protecting my family. I fear that we must relocate. I have two small children who do not deserve this. We have been threatened to the extreme by people online. Anything will help. We cannot and will not live in fear. Thank you. That last sentence, very consequential to the existential nature of what is currently going on. As you can see, people have responded very positively, giving her $323,000. Let's take a quick look at what the donations say. For Austin Metcalf. So people see this, some of them, as a reaction to a different incident with Carmelo Anthony, we'll talk about in a minute. Because speech might be offensive and it might hurt your feelings, but it's still free. What's illegal is doxing and harassment and pedophiles at the park taking videos of children. Let's give that some context. Number one, when she says, I called the kid out for what he was, she called the 5-year-old child a racial slur. Do I think the vast majority of people donating to this woman are donating because she's said a racial slur to a 5-year-old child? No. Do I think that they are giving her money because she then proceeded, after being egged on, to say the same racial slur to a Somalian pedophile taking recording video at a park, a children's park, Somalian pedophile at a children's park recording? I wonder what he was recording. What would a Somalian pedophile possibly record at a children's park? You know, that's a really interesting question. But they might possibly have enjoyed the catharsis that comes from a person like that being told something that they don't like. In this case, a racial slur. So, yeah, many people may have been donating for that purpose, but it looks like a lot of these things are more about individual rights. What has been the pattern for the past couple of decades of incidents like these? And how is this different? We see a white person make an uncouth or crass statement at work or in public. Usually it's racially colored. And instead of losing friends or losing a little bit of social credit, which I think is like the fair thing to happen to someone if everybody that they like or their friends don't like racial intolerance, you would just think they lose friends, right? But no. They sometimes lose access to their bank accounts. Most of the time, they lose their jobs. Most of the time, they become unemployable. Most of the time, they have their life ruined. And in a situation like this, there's many people who their family receives collateral damage for an outbursted statement. Do other races Are any other races held to this standard? Never. Never. None at all, period. Whether it's a foundational black or an immigrant black or, a Hispanic. The only people held to a similar standard is if a Hispanic is a little bit too light toned and people assume he's white. And a couple times you get snagged like that. That's about it. This has been a anti-hegemony push. It's a critical theory push. It's a disparate impact push. And ultimately, this social justice is seen as unfair by the majority of Americans. And a lot of those, vast majority of those people are white. But as you guys have made notice online, it's a lot of other people, a lot of other multi-ethnics in the country just don't agree with the double standard. And most of the time, the person that is involved in this, that says the racial slur and is having their life destroyed, they come out and apologize, expecting a Christian response, which is, oh, you're repenting? Then we will restore you. Then we will treat you as you should be treated, a child of God. We won't make you lose your job. We won't make you lose your life. We won't punish your family. We're going to treat you as we would like to be treated ourselves, the golden rule. But that's not what society offers anyone anymore. You don't get a Christian response. The admission of fault or wrongdoing in saying a racial slur results in the person being further dragged down rather than a sign to turn the leaf and reconcile. It is confirmation that person is evil. It's very oxymoronic to the person that's apologizing for their wrongdoing being considered evil. But then you understand that this is never being seen as a wrongdoing. This is a language power game. It has nothing to do with the personal offense of the person there. That's the surface level. They're just told to be offended. They don't know what being offended really is. But being offended to a lot of these people is just code for you getting the upper hand in a social situation. Why does this individual, the Somalian pedophile that was recording her, what was there to gain from recording her? Social status, social credit, fame, potentially even money. Maybe not money for this guy, but at the very bare minimum, he gets social credit for standing up to the evil racist mom. By the way, who is the victim? She's the victim of theft. Yes, theft by a 5-year-old should be given a little bit of levity. Perhaps you do not call a 5-year-old a racial slur. But regardless, it's a word. It's a word that the child may not have even understood at his age. The child was doing wrong, and Shiloh chose this as her response. And instead of capitulating, apologizing, and having her life further ruined, she instead asked for help. And this is the massive cultural shift. $323,855. I bet if I refresh, it'll be even more. Yeah, almost $350. You can see this is an actively growing situation. And there is a lot that you see in these donations. Listen, anonymous giver, $10. Sincere support from France. We're going through this together. Thank you for standing up for our people. May God bless you. It is okay to be white. In memory of Austin Metcalf, it's time to fight back. What do these messages tell you? What do people see in this existential conversation? Many people have referenced Carmelo Anthony. But what do people see in this? It is a rebellion against what we have been put through. A rebellion against being destroyed for basic standards that are never, ever applied to the other side. At some point, white people just wanted to be treated equally. I think that has been how white people, even now, a large percentage of white people just want to be treated equally. But they see the game that's played. They see the game with Carmelo Anthony. You stab a young white boy in the heart, you murder him while being in a place you were banned from by your school, being in a tent that you're not supposed to be in because it doesn't belong to your school, being in a seat that doesn't belong to you, being pushed by a white boy. Somehow all of those things, including having a knife that you have already been banned from carrying, that you've been caught with before, and you've been banned with carrying. Apparently, none of those things apply, and that Carmelo Anthony is supposed to receive righteousness, $500,000, relocation for murdering a white student after provocating him. He said, "Push me and see what happens." So there's provocation followed by murder. And apparently that is supposed to score you not only that, but then you get to shun the father of the child you murdered, who is trying to reconcile with you. And then you get to build a merch shop on the corpse of that child. That is what black people feel, not all black people, but many black people feel they are entitled to. And that was shown in the comments if you go and look at that fundraiser. Black people feel as though they get that because of collective justice. And so, what's different about this? This is a lot of white people, some not even from the United States, some from France, from Europe, saying, we're not doing this anymore. You guys want to do collective justice for black people? We will respond with collective justice for white people. Does a woman deserve $350,000 for calling a child and a pedophile a racial slur? Out of context, no. In context, what is this? Is this about Shiloh Hendricks? No. This is about the collective justice the left has pressed upon the entire country. This is what you get. And people may ask, well, I wanted individual justice. I just wanted justice for individuals. I don't want to live in a society of like collective guilt and social justice. I don't want the white version of what the leftists are doing. It's a lot of people. Some people have given up on that, but that is still a considerable chunk of people. My answer to that is if you want individual justice and non-collective justice, and you want to be able to have that kind of society, you have to let the radicals dissociate. How do you let radicals dissociate? And that is people who have just had enough of race relations and want to push apart. You restore their freedom of association. And to be quite honest with you, a large portion of foundational blacks want freedom of association again. Many of them get it already in an illegal fashion through universities, through like themed housing, through government programs, and various other things. A lot of foundational blacks have restored their own freedom of association in spite of civil rights law without any sort of reconciliation with white people. They don't have to like white people. They don't have to get along with white people. They can actually sit in their own little hub and despise white people while having their university house or having their government housing funded by the tax dollars of the group that they hate so much. Everybody understands this is fundamentally wrong. And so what restoring freedom of association does, I believe, is that it lets any sort of group that wants to have a racialized housing situation, a segregated community, segregated business, it forces them to live on their own means. Forces those foundational blacks to not live off of federal government dole. You just don't get federal. You can dissociate. You can segregate. But you don't get federal funding. You don't get state funding. You don't get public funding unless you generate it yourself. And I think that works for both communities. For whites who have honestly had enough of the past 60 years of race relations, and especially this past decade. It works for both groups, and anybody in the middle who wishes to live in the multi-ethnic society that we have in America with working class Hispanics and working class foundational blacks and anybody that wants to live like that, which is going to be the majority of people, they just continue living like that. But what is the benefit to them? All the radicals are gone. The white people who have had enough are gone, so they don't have to deal with those evil racists they're so scared about. And the foundational blacks are gone, going off doing their own thing in their own community. I think it helps the middle out substantially to let these people have freedom of association. And I think that is the only solution to this. That I can't think of any other solution. Other people will suggest radical solutions that will not ever pass. Some people from the white nationalist community will suggest selling my ancestral land over to foundational blacks. Go fuck yourself if that's your position. I'm going to be honest. Go fuck yourself. You will not sell my land to foundational blacks just because you want to try like ethno-nationalist societies within the United States. I believe in letting these people have communes. I don't believe in giving them my land. No, that won't happen. And it's not realistic in the first place, so please stop suggesting it. But yeah, no, I mean, those are my genuine thoughts. I mean, right now, what is the general message from this? It doesn't go all the way to restoring freedom of association, ending civil rights, unfairness, because honestly, from the very beginning, the Civil Rights Code has been discriminating against white people everywhere. And it creates an unfair system and a non-meritocratic system. That just needs to be addressed. It needs to be changed. Look at this comment from this most recent thing. Crackers alone weak, crackers together strong. And so you can see racial collectivism is increasing. And I don't think it gets any better until you just let people freely associate or dissociate from people. That was a right guaranteed to us by our founders, and it was destroyed by civil rights. Just restore it. There are a lot of black people that want it, a lot of Hispanics that want it, a lot of white people that want it. Just let people freely associate or dissociate. And I think those people in the middle that are worried about this will actually have a lot less to worry about when those radical elements of society have isolated themselves. I really think they will. But yeah, tell me guys what you think in the comments. What do you think about this? I think it's beyond obvious that this is a cultural movement. This is a cultural shift. White people are tired of having their lives destroyed over words against black people. I think white people right now are sick and tired of this woman being equated to a black murderer. Words do not equate to murder. That's what the left has been trying to push forever, that words equal violence. This is not murder. This is a woman being rude to a child and rude to a Somalian pedophile at a children's park. By the way, I know a lot of people probably are saying, oh, well, the Somalian pedophile, he's not really a pedophile. I watched his video. You guys can go look it up on X if you want to. It is rather pathetic. He does not argue against having sex with a minor. He does not argue against manipulating a minor. He just tries to basically victim blame. That's all it really is. So yeah, no. I don't have any sympathy in my heart for the adult in this situation that was race baiting with his film and trying to gain social credit while being a horrible person. I don't have any. I have some sympathy for the child. Now the child shouldn't have been treated that way, and but don't worry about it. Your sympathy is not needed because they've actually already started up a fundraiser for the child, and it's probably gaining up hundreds of thousands of dollars right now because this is where racial dialogue has gone. We are not in the glory days of the 90s and 2000s where it seemed like race relations were about to be a closed shut issue, except for hiccups like O.J. Simpson, of course. I think O.J. Simpson is a prelude to all of this, really, if you think about it. But yeah, no, this is where we're going. And I cannot be negative against Shiloh Hendricks for standing up for herself and pointing out the inequality in this reaction. She herself is aware of this. We cannot and will not live in fear. Now, she may be saying this about her family, but I think a lot of people read that statement, and they go, she's talking about white people collectively being abused by this racial system. We're done with it. We are done with it. We are the majority in this country. We will remain a plurality in this country for a long time, and we do not deserve to be treated this way. And when we become a minority, we will be treated worse. So while we're the majority, while we're the plurality, we might as well fight to at least get exactly the same thing that is afforded to other minorities. It's about time someone has the balls to call a spade a spade. I hope you find somewhere safe. We're very proud of you. So that's my take on this. Agree, disagree, comment, let me know. Otherwise, I hope all of you have a very blessed rest of your day.